Riley didn't mean to send it. It was late. She was angry. And with one swipe of her thumb, everything shattered. The text wasn't just words. It was the crack in a friendship she thought would last forever. She didn't know her message would get screenshotted, forwarded, and whispered through every hallway. By the time Monday morning came, she wasn't walking into school. She was walking into a storm. Riley Burris had always kept a small circle. She wasn't the loudest in school, not the trendiest, and definitely not the one who joined every group chat. But she had Amaya. And that was enough. Amaya wasn't just Riley's best friend. She was her anchor, her diary, her person. The one who sat beside her at lunch when no one else looked up. The one who FaceTimed her after arguments with Candy. The one who knew every insecurity Riley had hidden under her polished smile. They had been friends since 7th grade. Now they were in 10th. And while high school had changed a lot, new faces, new dramas, new pressures, one thing remained solid: Riley and Amaya. Or so Riley believed. But lately things felt off. Amaya had started hanging out with a different group. Girls who cared more about lip gloss and boy followers than loyalty. She still talked to Riley, but now it came with half laughs and full distractions. "Sorry girl, I didn't see your text. Ugh, I forgot we were supposed to sit together today. And the worst one, you're so sensitive it was just a joke." That joke? It happened in the cafeteria. Riley had walked in wearing her new sneakers, ones she had begged Candy for and finally got after promising to improve her grades. She was excited, nervous. It was the first time she had allowed herself to feel proud. But Amaya, sitting with the new girls, looked at Riley and loudly said, "Dang Riley, are those shoes real or fake?" "Just asking, 'cause I saw a pair like that on Wish." The girls around her burst out laughing. Riley froze. It wasn't the joke, it was the way Amaya looked at her after. Like she was inviting the others to laugh. Like she had traded Riley in for popularity points. She didn't say anything right then. Just walked past them, heart pounding, trying not to cry. She sat alone that lunch period, pretending to scroll, pretending not to care. But that night, the pain boiled over. She opened her phone, opened her chat with Amaya, and started typing. She didn't think so. She didn't breathe. She just let it out. "You've changed so much. I don't even recognize you anymore. The popularity means treating your best friend like trash, then congrats. You're winning." She stared at the screen. Her thumb hovered. She hesitated, then hit send, and instantly regretted it. Not because it wasn't true, but because it felt final. Like drawing a line neither of them could cross again. Riley waited for a reply. Minutes passed. Then an hour. Then two. Nothing. She fell asleep with her phone in her hand. The next day, school felt heavier than usual. People stared, whispered, and then she saw it. One of the popular boys glanced at her phone screen during the first period. Riley's heart stopped. He was reading her message. Her private text. That night's message, now screenshotted and shared. Someone had leaked it. And now everyone has it. The group chat was blowing up. The messages read, "Y'all see what Riley sent to Amaya? Skull. She's so jealous, oh, clingy much." Riley's stomach turned. She wanted to disappear. She wanted to scream. She wanted to undo that one moment. That afternoon, Candy noticed something was off the moment Riley walked in. "Hey baby, how was school?" Riley didn't answer. She walked straight past her mom, locked her bedroom door, and collapsed on the floor. Her world had flipped overnight. And Candy didn't even know yet. Sometimes, it's not the yelling that hurts. It's the silence. The way people look at you without saying a word, like you're already guilty. Like your presence is unwanted. That's what Riley faced the morning after her text went viral. And what hurt most wasn't the classmates. It was that Amaya hadn't said a single word back. The next morning, Riley didn't want to get out of bed. Her phone was still buzzing from group chats she wasn't even part of. People she didn't know had read her message. Judged her. Laughed at her pain like it was a meme. She had become a joke. For sending a message she thought no one else would see. Candy knocked on the door gently. "Riley? You good in there, baby?" Riley pulled the covers over her head. "I'm fine, Mom. You barely touched dinner last night. I just want to know." I said I'm fine. There was silence. Then the sound of Candy walking away. It wasn't like Riley to snap at her mom. But she didn't have the energy to explain. Not yet. Not today. The hallways were worse than usual. People didn't laugh out loud. They didn't whisper where she could hear. But they looked. And that was worse. The kind of look that says, "Oh, you're the girl who wrote that text." You're the one who got ditched by her own best friend. Riley kept her head down, earbuds in. But the music wasn't playing. It was just her shield. She reached her locker, and there was Amaya. For a split second, Riley's heart fluttered. Maybe she was here to talk. Maybe they could fix this. But Amaya didn't look mad. She didn't even look hurt. She looked cold, unbothered, like Riley didn't exist. And then she walked right past her. Without a word. Without a glance. Riley's throat tightened. It would have been easier if Amaya screamed at her, pushed her, said something cruel. But this silence felt like death. Flashback to happier times. Just a few weeks ago, they were lying in Riley's room, doing face masks and talking about their futures. I feel like we'll always be friends, Amaya had said. Even when we have kids and jobs and all that grown stuff. Riley had smiled. You promise? Amaya held up her pinky. Promise. That memory haunted her now. Because it proved that even the strongest bonds can break. And sometimes all it takes is one text. Later that day, at lunch, Riley didn't even try to sit near Amaya's table. Instead, she went to the far corner by herself. She stared at her food but didn't touch it. Suddenly, someone sat across from her. It was Jayla, a girl from chemistry class. Soft-spoken. Always wore hoodies. Never really part of any group. You okay? Jayla asked. Riley was startled. No one had asked her that all day. Not one person. I don't know, Riley whispered. Jayla shrugged. High school's brutal. But you're not alone, you know. Riley blinked fast, trying to hold back tears. This tiny act of kindness hit her harder than the bullying. Jayla stood up and added quietly, if you need someone to sit with, I'm usually in the art room during lunch. Then she walked away. After school, at home. Candy was waiting. Not angry. Not yelling. Just sitting at the kitchen table. She had Riley's favorite meal on the counter. Mac and cheese. Garlic bread. Lemonade. The comfort combo. Come eat, she said gently. Riley sat across from her, quiet. Candy didn't push. Instead, she placed her hand on Riley's and said, you don't have to tell me everything right now. But I see you're hurting. And I'm here when you're ready. That broke Riley. Tears fell before she could stop them. I messed up, Mom, she whispered. I sent one text, and now I don't have a best friend anymore. Candy didn't flinch. Didn't say, I told you so. She just pulled Riley into her arms and held her tight. I don't know what happened, she whispered. But no mistake makes you unworthy of love. That night, Riley couldn't sleep. She opened her phone. I looked at the message again. She didn't delete it. Not yet. But she did open Amaya's chat one last time. Typed 3 words. I miss you. Then delete them before sending. Because what if Amaya didn't care anymore? What if the friendship was already gone? Sometimes, it only takes a moment for your whole life to shift. But when you're in high school, that moment doesn't just change your life. It changes your reputation, your friendships, your peace, your sleep. And for Riley, that moment was still haunting her. One text she didn't mean for everyone to see. But now, it wasn't just Amaya who was ignoring her. The entire school seemed to turn cold overnight. The next morning, Riley took longer than usual to get dressed. She stared into the mirror, holding her hoodie in her hands, wondering if it would help her disappear. She felt small. Exposed. Like no matter what she wore, people would still look at her with the same disgusted faces. Her phone buzzed. Another meme. Someone had screenshotted her text, edited her face onto a cartoon, and shared it again. It wasn't funny, but they made it a joke anyway. Because online, even the cruelest things can get likes. The school. Riley tried walking fast through the halls, but it didn't matter. Whispers followed her like shadows. She really thought Amaya was her friend? Serves her right. Who says stuff like that and expects it to stay secret? Honestly, she deserved it. Deserved what? She hadn't even meant it the way they made it sound. But no one cared. Not about the context. Not about her side. Only the screenshot. Lunchroom showdown. She saw Amaya sitting at the usual table. Their table. Surrounded by people Riley used to laugh with just a week ago. The seat beside Amaya, the one Riley always took, was now filled by a girl named Trina. And Trina was whispering something in Amaya's ear that made her laugh. It stung. Harder than expected. Riley knew it was a bad idea. But something inside her snapped. She walked over, slow and tense. Everyone went quiet. Even the ones pretending not to notice. Amaya, she said, voice shaking. Can we talk? Amaya didn't even look up. Trina smirked. Awkward. Riley tried again. Please, just give me 5 minutes. Finally, Amaya looked at her. Cold, distant, tired. But, so you can text someone else about it later, she snapped. The entire table gasped. Someone muttered, "Oh." Riley froze. Her heart dropped. Her face burned red. "I never meant to hurt you," Riley whispered. Amaya stood up. "You didn't just hurt me. You humiliated me." No, don't. Just don't." Riley's eyes welled with tears. It was one mistake. Amaya looked her dead in the eye. And it ended everything. Then she sat back down and turned her back. Riley stood there for a moment. People watched. Some recorded. Others laughed. And then she walked away. After school, in the bathroom stall. She cried. Not the quiet kind. The kind that makes your body shake. The kind that feels like you're breaking open inside. Someone came into the bathroom, but she didn't care. Let them hear. Let them laugh. She had nothing left to protect. Later that night, Riley was in her room, lying on the floor in the dark. She didn't even turn on the light. Candy knocked again. "Riley, baby?" No answer. She opened the door slowly. "Oh my God," she rushed in. Riley was fine physically, but her face said everything. Eyes swollen, cheeks stained, shoulders trembling. Candy pulled her up into her arms. "What happened? What did they do?" "I tried to fix it," Riley whispered, "but she hates me." "Who?" "Amaya." "Everyone." Candy rocked her gently. "You do not deserve this, Riley. Whatever happened, you don't deserve to be treated like this." "But I messed up." "You made a mistake. You didn't kill someone." Riley clung tighter. "I want to disappear, Mom." Candy froze. That sentence hit her like a punch. She looked into her daughter's eyes and said firmly, "Don't you ever say that. Don't ever think that. You don't know what they're saying about me. I don't care what they say. I care about you." Candy cupped her daughter's face. "Whatever you're feeling right now, we'll deal with it together. You hear me?" Riley nodded. But inside, the ache was still loud. A message from someone unexpected. That night, Riley's phone buzzed. It was a DM from Jayla. "Saw what happened today. That was messed up. Wanna come to the art room tomorrow? Just us." Riley didn't respond. Not yet. But she stared at that message for a long time. Because it was the first time in days she felt like maybe someone still saw her. Sometimes, a single message can destroy everything. But sometimes, it's not the message that hurts the most, it's what follows. The silence. The rumors. The way people look at you like you're not even human anymore. Riley had lost her best friend. She had lost her peace. And just when she thought things couldn't get worse, someone dragged her name back into the spotlight, and this time, it wasn't just one text. It was her entire private journal. The next morning felt a little less heavy. Riley got out of bed without Candy waking her. She washed her face, combed her hair, and packed her backpack with quiet determination. She didn't feel okay, but for the first time in days, she felt less invisible. Jayla's message had stayed in her mind all night. "Wanna come to the art room tomorrow? Just us." She didn't know what to expect. They weren't close. Just classmates, really. But at this point, Riley didn't care. If someone, anyone, still wanted to talk to her, she'd take it. The art room. Jayla was already there. She wore her usual oversized sweater, paint on her fingers, earbuds half in. Riley hesitated at the door. Jayla looked up. "Hey," she said simply, like nothing was weird. "Hey," Riley replied, stepping in. Jayla pointed to the stool beside her. "Wanna paint something ugly?" Riley laughed, surprised. "Ugly?" Jayla nodded. "Paint how you feel. No rules." Riley sat down. And for a while, they didn't speak. They just painted. The silence wasn't awkward. It was healing. The truth comes out. After 30 minutes, Riley finally said it out loud. "I didn't mean for the text to get out." Jayla looked up. "I know. You do." Jayla shrugged. "People talk. I heard both sides. I just figured there was more to the story." Riley blinked back tears. "Thank you." Jayla gave a small smile. "We all mess up, but not everyone deserves to be crucified for it." That sentence wrapped around Riley like a warm blanket. Maybe she wasn't a monster. Lunchtime, the calm before the storm. Later that day, Riley sat in the library instead of the cafeteria. She felt like she was slowly building her peace again. 1 hour at a time. She even texted Candy. "Had a better day. Will tell you more when I'm home. Love you." Candy replied instantly. I'm proud of you. Dinner's your favorite tonight, Red Heart. But as Riley packed up her bag to head to class, her phone buzzed. And everything inside her froze. It was a message from another girl in class. Riley, did you mean to post this? She clicked the link. It led to a group chat story post. Dozens of screenshots. From her personal diary. Her deepest thoughts. Her drawings. Her secrets. Even the line she wrote months ago. Sometimes I wish I didn't have to wake up at all. Everything. Public. Riley's hands began to shake. She hadn't posted this. She would never do that. She checked her notes app. Her diary file was still there, untouched. But the screenshots were real. How did someone get into her phone? She ran to the bathroom. Locked herself in the stall. I tried to breathe. Her phone buzzed again. And again. Dozens of messages, group chat notifications, even posts tagging her. People saying, "Attention seeker." She wrote this? What a weirdo. She's seriously mentally unstable. And worst of all, a repost from Amaya's account, resharing the diary story with just 3 words. Now it all makes sense. Riley felt like she was drowning. Candy finds out. When Riley got home, she didn't even make it through the door properly. She collapsed into Candy's arms. What happened? Candy asked, panicked. Riley held out her phone. Candy scrolled. I froze. Her eyes darkened. Who did this? Riley shook her head. I don't know, my diary. My private thoughts. Everyone saw them. Candy held her close. You didn't deserve this. No one does. I want it to stop, Riley whispered. It will, Candy said firmly. But we're not going to stay quiet about it anymore. That night, Candy made calls. To the school. To a lawyer. To Riley's therapist. Riley cried herself to sleep, but for the first time, her mom didn't leave her side. She stayed beside her daughter all night. And in the morning, Candy posted on Instagram. My daughter has been bullied, violated, and humiliated all over one private text and now a leaked diary. This is not okay. To the parents, to the schools, to the students watching this. Protect your children. Teach them better. And if they ever feel alone, let them know they are deeply, deeply loved. The post went viral. Support poured in. Strangers began defending Riley. Famous influencers commented. Celebrities reposted it. And slowly, the tide began to turn. But even as the world rallied around her, Riley knew she still had one final thing to do. One mistake. One text. That's all it took for Riley to lose her best friend. But what she didn't know was that losing Amaya wasn't the worst thing that would happen. The betrayal that followed wasn't just painful, it was planned. And now, standing face to face with the truth, Riley had a choice. Fight back, or forgive. Because sometimes the real enemy isn't who you thought it was. It's the one who watched you suffer and said nothing. At lunch, Riley sat alone in the art room again. Jayla came in, holding a tray with 2 smoothies. You okay? She asked gently. Riley nodded. Better, but I still don't know who did it. Jayla hesitated. I think I do. Riley looked up sharply. What? Jayla sat down. Don't hate me, but I've been watching people. Listening. Riley leaned in, her heart pounding. Jayla continued, there's this girl, Zara. She was close to Amaya. She used to borrow phones to check pictures or send herself songs, but she was actually copying stuff. Riley's eyes widened. You think Zara stole my diary? Jayla nodded. I'm almost sure. She had your phone once, right? That day in the library? Riley gasped. She had let Zara borrow her phone briefly, and she'd felt weird about it but didn't say anything. She's the one who leaked it, Jayla whispered. Riley felt sick. But then came a deeper question. Did Amaya know? The confrontation. After school, Riley saw Amaya waiting at the front gate. For a second, she thought about walking past her. But something stopped her. Maybe it was closure. Maybe it was courage. She walked up. Hey, Riley said. Amaya turned, surprised. Hey. They stood there, awkwardly. I need to ask you something, Riley said. Did you leak my diary? Amaya looked down. No, I didn't. Then why did you repost it? Riley asked, tears welling up. Why did you make it worse? Amaya sighed. Because I was hurt. You sent that text about me and it felt like you never cared. I did care, Riley said. I made a stupid joke in a private text. I apologized 100 times. But you threw me to the wolves. Amaya stayed quiet. You could have told people the truth, Riley said softly. That I didn't mean it. That we were friends. But you didn't. Amaya's eyes filled. I was angry. I felt like no one ever stood up for me, so I wanted you to feel the same. And now? Riley asked. Amaya's voice cracked. Now I just feel guilty. They stood there in silence. Then Riley said, Zar took my diary. Jayla figured it out. Amaya looked shocked. What? Are you sure? She borrowed my phone. That's how it got out. Amaya covered her mouth. Oh my God. Riley, I swear I didn't know. Riley believed her. Because the way Amaya's voice shook, it wasn't fake. It was painful. Real pain. Forgiveness. Then help me, Riley said. Not with revenge. I don't want that. Just help me end this. Amaya nodded. Whatever you need. The next day, Amaya posted a public story. I want to apologize to Riley. I let my pain make me cruel. She made a mistake. But she didn't deserve what happened next. I should have spoken up. I'm sorry. The post got shared. People started messaging Riley with support. Even Zara, who had been caught, messaged Riley privately. I'm sorry. I know it doesn't fix anything. Riley didn't reply. Some things didn't need a reply. Riley and Candy talk honestly. That night, Riley sat with Candy on the porch. I feel lighter, Riley said. Not because everything's perfect, but because I don't have to carry it alone anymore. Candy squeezed her hand. That's what healing feels like. I never thought I'd be okay again, Riley whispered. You're stronger than you know, Candy said. And you're not alone. Riley leaned into her mother's shoulder. For the first time in weeks, she smiled, not because things were fixed, but because she was finally starting to feel whole again. Sometimes one text can destroy everything, but sometimes it also reveals what needs to be healed. Riley lost a friend, lost her privacy, lost her peace, but in the process, she found her voice. She found who really cared, and she found strength she never knew she had. Because real healing doesn't come from silence. It comes from facing the truth and choosing to move forward anyway.